Thank you. A warm early June night for baseball at Camden Yards. The New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles. Plenty of star power on display in this AL Eastern Division matchup. And in terms of the top of the division, a top that the Orioles occupy. There have been a lot of reasons for their success. Welcome inside the broadcast booth with Tom Verducci, Matt Vasgersian. We could talk all about Mark Trumbo, Matt Wieters, Adam Jones, Chris Davis, the guy that's been the most consistent Oriole, soup to nuts, start of the season until right now, and a big part of why they have a percentage points lead atop the division is the two-time All-Star Manny Machado.
It just keeps getting better. It's the ideal player development path. Get to the big leagues early and good and get better every year. And he's done that. His OPS has gone up every single year, all 5 years. And now, especially, even more valuable. Why? He's playing shortstop with J.J. Hardy on the DL. And not just an ordinary shortstop, I believe a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. And oh, by the way, he's well protected in this lineup, Matt. I mean, you talk about an offense that relies on the home run. There's a lot of firepower here. And I can tell you this week, as the weather has warmed up, the ball is just jumping here at Camden Yards.
Big comebacks in each of the last 3 games for an Orioles team that has posted a lot of offensive damage all week long along the course of this homestand. Well, Manny Machado will bat third for the Orioles when we go to the bottom of the inning. But first, we talk about what's happening on the other side of the scorecard. And the New York Yankee lineup is penned by Joe Girardi this afternoon. Jacoby Ellsbury and Brett Gardner lead it off the top. Carlos Beltran, Alex Rodriguez, and Starlin Castro 3 through 5. Didi Gregorius has been struggling at the plate. He'll be at shortstop, batting number 6. Chase Headley, Rob Refsnyder at first, and Austin Romine round out the lineup for the Mark Teixeira-less New York Yankees, who, as we learned, was placed on the disabled list with a knee injury today. So in the interim, Joe Girardi and company will look for some offense from some F-troopers, if you will, and these Yankees take swings against the right-hander Tyler Wilson on the mound to make his 8th starting assignment of the year tonight. Ready for baseball from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. The Orioles and Yankees are underway. First pitch home to Jacoby Ellsbury, misses inside as we take a look at the Lowe's pitcher profile for Tyler Wilson.
He's a guy who's going to pitch to contact, doesn't have deception, doesn't have velocity, so he relies on command. Typically aggressive early in counts, try to expand later in counts.
Last time around for Wilson was Monday, the homestand opener against the Red Sox. He went into the 7th inning in that game and threw the ball better than the final line would indicate. 3 earned runs on his watch on 8 hits and took a 7-2 loss that game. Things didn't really unravel for him until the end of that start in the 7th as he pours in a strike to Ellsbury.
Well, that's the cut fastball. It really is a natural cut. His four-seamer, he told me he doesn't try to cut it, cuts naturally, pairs that with a sinker. You saw that late cut there. The sinker will turn the other way. 2 pitches that go opposite directions. And he also adds and subtracts off his breaking ball. He calls it a slider. I think it's more like a slurve. He can drop it vertically or he can sweep it as well.
2 balls and 2 strikes, the count to Jacoby Ellsbury, leading things off tonight. Brett Gardner waits next. The 2-2 pitch home is hit in the air out to shallow center field. Jonathan Scope out there watching it drift all the way to the 4-time Gold Glover Adam Jones. Adam Jones is the quarterback, the 4-time Gold Glover. As we mentioned, the rest of the defense for the Orioles, it's Flaherty, Machado, Scope, and Davis around the infield. 2-time All-Star Matt Wieters behind the plate, and in the outfield, Gun-Soo Kim, who has earned everyday playing time with a late resurgence, Adam Jones, and Mark Trumbo in right.
It's a really good defense, and as he told me, with these guys behind me, I should be confident about putting the ball in play. 87% contact rate, well above major league average, about 77%.
Here's Brett Gardner now, stuck in a 2-for-15 slide as we start playing tonight, and the first offering to him misses off the plate. You'd think that of all the things that could go wrong in a senior lineup, and let's face it, that's what the Yankees are, that 2 of their younger players, 2 of their more dynamic players at the top of the lineup wouldn't be the problem. It's been exactly the opposite. Both Ellsbury and Gardner have struggled this year.
And that's a surprise. Gardner played through a wrist injury second half of last season. Numbers were down then. This season, he's been healthy. He's had a lot of trouble on balls down in the zone.
And these are struggles that predate opening day this year. It really goes back to the All-Star game last season for Brett Gardner, the end of July last year. From that point till today, batting just .206. And the on-base percentage might be just as, if not more, alarming.
He's got a very unusual swing. It's not so much a swing as it is he throws the bat at the baseball. And it's very unusual with left-handed hitters not to like the ball down, but that's where his problems have been. See, that top hand comes off early. He's much better on balls up. Obviously, Wilson, with the sinker breaking ball combination, prefers keeping the ball down.
The Yankees are in a stretch where they have played, or in the midst of playing, 12 games in 13 days against the AL East. They're 3-7 so far over that span. That's the bad news. The good news is they've lost only one game in the standings since the beginning of that stretch of schedule. And they start play tonight 6.5 off the pace. A full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Brett Gardner. 1 away, bases empty, just settling in here in Baltimore. Hot shot comebacker. Wilson's got it for out number 2.
Well, you mentioned the schedule, Matt. I think the other thing they're up against, playing 40 games in 41 days. Essentially back-to-back 20-game streaks with 1 day off in between. This second half of 20 games straight is really starting to catch up to them, starting to leak some oil, which you expect to happen with an older team.
Yeah, the latest loss is one whose impact really can't be minimized. Here's Carlos Beltran now with 2 away, and it would be around this time of the order we'd be mentioning the name Mark Teixeira, the Baltimore native, who was put on the DL again today because of a knee injury. Been a series of physical setbacks for Mark Teixeira, the neck and now the knee, and quite frankly the Yankees are running out of guys that can play first base. 2 balls and no strikes, the count to Carlos Beltran.
Well, the Yankees made a bet that both Teixeira and Alex Rodriguez would defy the baseball aging curves as they did the first 4 months of last season. That has not been the case so far this season.
Carlos Beltran, for his part, has given the Yankees some consistency this year. 13 home runs, 33 driven in. He has done most of his damage with the long ball this year from the left side of the plate, as has been the case for him historically.
And he's free to swing right here if it's a fastball inner half.
Here's the 3-0. A ground ball to the shifted infield. Tyler Wilson sets the Yankees down in order to start the night. Baltimore coming to bat. In order to start the night, time to head to the bottom of the first and take a look at Buck Showalter's Orioles starting lineup tonight. Five-time All-Star Adam Jones leads things off. The Baltimore lineup has really taken off since Jones has been inserted into that leadoff spot. Hyun-Soo Kim had 3 hits on 5 pitches yesterday. He starts in left field. Machado, Davis, Trumbo, and Wieters. A lot of thump 3 through 6. Don't sleep on Pedro Alvarez at DH, batting number 7. Jonathan Scope and Ryan Flaherty round things out for the first place Baltimore Orioles. On the mound for the Yankees, set to make his 6th starting assignment of the year, is the 29-year-old veteran right-hander Ivan Nova, whose first offering to Adam Jones is swung on and missed. Taking a look at the Lowe's pitching profile for Nova at a 3-3 record to start play tonight, Tom, and an ERA just under 4.
Well, essentially a 2-pitch pitcher, sinker, curveball.
Jones with a ground ball for Chase Headley, and one quick out for Ivan Nova.
And get used to it. You'll see the ball in play on this side as well. Nova really doesn't have a put-away pitch, and most teams, when they get to Nova, have gotten to him early. Now, why is that? His curveball really is, to me, his best pitch. Sometimes it just takes a while to get a feel for that pitch. He gets better as the game goes on.
Here is the left-handed hitting left fielder, Hyun-Soo Kim. On paper, as Kim takes a look at a fastball for a strike, it would seem this to be a challenging matchup for Ivan Nova, a guy that likes to use his fastball against a not good but great fastball hitting Baltimore team. Into the opposite corner, Kim wheeling into second with a 1-out double.
Well, this guy's absolutely been on fire. It took a while to get adjusted, especially to major league velocity, but you look at these numbers, and he's living up to the nickname he had in Korea, which was hitting machine. And I was really curious as to why the Yankees would be overplaying him in a shift. And this is the guy we've seen in his short time in the big leagues. He will use the entire field. The Yankees playing him like a dead pull hitter. They have to adjust that scouting report.
And he will hit the wrinkle, too. I mean, this is a guy that wore out breaking balls in his professional career in Korea. He stands in scoring position now with 1 gone for the aforementioned Manny Machado. Machado in a golden opportunity to drive in the game's first run early. Kim at second with 1 gone. Into that same corner, but fouled. To further the point on what a challenging assignment this looks like on paper for Ivan Nova, as you take a look at the Orioles hitting coach Scott Coolbaugh, who is really to be given a lot of the credit for Hyun-Soo Kim making that adjustment to big league pitching as quickly as he seems to have done. There are a number of Oriole hitters that have great track records against Nova. It's a high pop into the left field corner. Gardner giving chase. Foul territory, running out of room. I mean, on paper, Tom, it's really quite eye-popping. Chris Davis, Mark Trumbo, Matt Wieters, they're combining to hit 400 against him, with 9 home runs in that part of the order.
That's the thing. There's a lot of damage. The issue is Nova really doesn't have a put-away pitch. 2 strike counts. Hitters are hitting 242 against him. That's about a good 70 points above average. And here he is right here, 2 strikes on Machado, needing a put-away pitch.
This may have been an opportunity years ago, and I'm not talking about that many years ago, for Ivan Nova before the Tommy John surgery, when he came to the Yankees in 2011 with that wipeout slider to put somebody away. But Nova is not the same guy. He certainly doesn't use that pitch the way he did when he first broke in.
Hard to live on a starting pitcher with 2 pitches. Once in a while he'll throw a changeup, but that's a rarity.
And Machado sends a flare pop up wide of first for Refsnyder. It's too early in the game to say that's a big out, but I'll say it. That's a big out.
That's a big out. And getting back to that slider cutter, if you will, that was a nasty pitch that Nova had. You know, it was very tight. It really didn't. Most hitters will see the dot on a slider. His was so tight you couldn't see the dot. And that was what got people off the sinker. Well, he stopped throwing that essentially a couple of years ago because he thought that was contributing to elbow and arm problems.
So 2 out with the runner at second now for the 2013 All-Star Chris Davis. One of the big power threats in tonight's Baltimore lineup. Rocketed into the opposite corner and slicing foul. Keys to the game are sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company.
Well, from the Yankees, I call it Williamsport baseball. You know, after 6, the game's over in Williamsport. That's the deal with the Yankees, 18-1 when they lead after 6. And for Baltimore, Saturday yard work. Home runs, they live by the home run. The 25-10 when they hit one, including 14-3 at home.
Oh, 1 to Davis is fouled away to put him behind 0-2. You know, the thing about this Orioles homestand that really got everybody's attention, they scored a bunch of runs in 3 games against the Red Sox, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Didn't hit a single home run. Then they bludgeoned the Sox pitching staff on Thursday with 7 home runs. I mean, they can go quiet for a while and then still come around and get you.
Oh, I'd be surprised if Nova throws another fastball in this sequence here to Davis. Should be all breaking balls.
There's one fouled away.
No home runs off curveballs this year for Chris Davis. And he will expand the zone. Nova's got to make sure when he throws this curveball, you have to think dirt. Maybe have it pass through the zone, but make sure it finishes out of the zone.
0-2 the count to Chris Davis, trying not to strand that 1-out double. Kim at second with now 2 gone in the bottom of the first. If you had tuned us in tonight thinking you were going to get that Royals Indians AL Central first place battle, that game was delayed by rain, as you know. We're going to send you out there very shortly for Joe Davis and C.J. Nitkowski waiting by. And Chris Davis can't hang on. He strikes out. Nova pitches out of an early jam. On to the second in Baltimore. No score. To the top of the second. And that Baltimore raspberry can mean only one thing. Alex Rodriguez announced to lead off an inning for New York. Rodriguez, Castro, and Gregorius for the Yankees here against the right-hander Tyler Wilson. Got to believe that doesn't bother Alex. He's heard worse.
It's like his walk-up song by now. Well, especially because of all the damage he's done in this yard here. I think they're aware of that as well.
Indeed, there's only 2 ballparks where Alex has hit more home runs as a visiting player than Camden Yards. He's done a lot of home run hitting in Anaheim, in Toronto, and 34 of them here in Baltimore. No visitors hit more. Behind a ball and 2 strikes. Rodriguez arrives here, however, rather cold. Just 4 for his last 24. That's a 166 batting average. It's been a rough road trip for Alex. The 1-2 to the former 3-time, as a matter of fact, American League MVP. And it's a 2-2 count now. See Weeder shifting onto the outside corner, and now A-Rod wants to think about it. Tyler Wilson worked quickly and efficiently to retire Ellsbury, Gardner, and Beltran in order to start the ball game in the first. And he gets Alex Rodriguez swinging to start the second.
That is textbook pitching to Alex Rodriguez. Show him 2 seamers in, get him out soft away. Perfect location. He'll start, he'll double up on the breaking ball here. The slider, 2-seamer to start out. There's the slider here. 1-1 count. Now he's going to show in. That's a great location on the 2-seamer. Once again, in. Got him set up. You mentioned where Weeder's set up, Matt. That's just perfect sequencing. And I'm going to give you a number on Alex Rodriguez you're not going to believe.
What do you got?
We're more than a third of the way through the season. I know he was on the DL a bit. Castro misses that slider. He has 1 hit all year against anything other than a fastball.
Wow.
He's hitting .033 against anything that spins.
Wow. Pitch outside to Castro to make it a 1-1 count.
It's almost like he's protecting against velocity. And Wilson, obviously not a high velocity guy, but showed enough velocity in on the hands to open up outside. And that's been the book on getting him out this year.
Castro chops it to third. Ryan Flaherty there for it, and there are 2 quick outs. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. Two quick outs start the second. That'll bring up a left-handed hitting shortstop, Didi Gregorius. Gregorius also arrives in game 2 of this series a bit cold. 5 for his last 25. And without sounding like a broken record, you could say that for a number of Yankees hitters. Collectively, their offense has been in a malaise. Batting .233 as a team, last in the American League, and you can slice up all the numbers with whatever kind of knives and brushes you'd like, and none of them look much better. Runners in scoring position, 2-strike approach, 2-out hits, at or near the bottom in just about every major American League offensive category.
And here's what would concern me if I'm the Yankees. You see those numbers, they're not scoring runs. They're not hitting the ball hard. They're last in batting average on balls in play, and they're 28th in hard hit ball percentage. And only the Phillies and the Braves over in the National League, so you have the pitchers at bats factored in there, are worse than the Yankees. What does that tell me? They're not hitting in tough luck. They're just not hitting the baseball. They're 3rd in contact percentage, and you see how low they rank in hitting balls hard. It's not a fluke where they're at. Next to last in Major League Baseball scoring runs.
Still a ball and 2 strikes to Didi Gregorius. Tyler Wilson looking for his 2nd straight 1-2-3 inning to begin the ball game tonight. Well, it just doesn't happen very often that you get into June and you're still talking about a Yankees team that's chasing the rest of the pack. And that is the case this year. Had it not been for Tampa Bay's recent free fall, New York could be looking up at everybody in the AL East. And by way of example, this is just the third time in the last 25 years that the Yankees have entered June with a losing record.
And I know both those times, Matt, I believe they made the wild card. The difference is the run differential. In 2005, they had a positive run differential going into June, or 2007 rather. This team, 31 games minus on the run differential.
Gregorius really giving Wilson quite a battle here, staying alive on 2-2. And Didi Gregorius has done his part to try to at least snap the rest of the lads out of this.
Well, again, this is Wilson's game. He's going to pitch to contact. He's going to change speeds, cut the ball, sink the ball. No two pitches, same speed, back to back.
Gregorius, a tough batter to strike out. Off the fists with some English on it for Machado, who gets it to first just a step ahead of Didi Gregorius. 3 up, 3 down for the second straight inning for right-hander Tyler Wilson. Mark Trumbo leads off the bottom of the second. A big part of Baltimore's big offensive totals this year has come from a new bird. Mark Trumbo off to a great start as an Oriole. In this month alone, a couple of home runs and 5 runs batted in. He starts play tonight with a share of a home run lead in all of baseball, and en route to career numbers in slugging, on base, and batting average. It's been a big part of the first place ranking here for the Orioles.
Just tremendous raw power, and this is a really bad matchup for Nova. And I'll tell you why. See where Romine is set up. Nova's much better at getting his sinker on the arm side of the plate. That's in on a right-hander. Trumbo loves the ball in. The way to get him out is the ball away. But Nova is not nearly as adept at getting the sinker away, backdooring it, as he is getting it in on the hands. Breaking ball here.
Well, I'm quite sure that both Mark Trumbo and Ivan Nova are aware of these numbers. I mean, that's straight ownership. 9 for 16 with 2 long ones.
Most of his home runs this year, in fact, all but 1, have come on pitches middle in.
Another 2-strike count for Ivan Nova. He danced around a 1-out double to keep the Orioles scoreless in the first. And the next 0-2 home. And he made Trumbo chase. Romine throws to first to finish the out. Couple of strikeouts for Ivan Nova in his first inning and a third tonight.
2-strike curveball, bounce it. 2 in a row. You got Davis on it, and now he gets Trumbo on it.
Well, Mark Trumbo's had success against Ivan Nova. Not necessarily tonight. See what happens for Matt Wieters in his first duel with Nova this evening, because he too has had a good track record against the Yankee right-hander. 4 home runs overall for Matt this year. 4 home runs in his career in 35 attempts against Ivan Nova.
And swinging a much better bat lately. Seems like we say that about everybody in the Baltimore lineup these days.
Wieters has hit safely in 11 of his last 12 games. Good take on 2-0, and it's a 3 balls and no strike count to Matt Wieters now.
Yeah, that's the bread and butter for Nova. That sinker. It'll be down and away to a lefty, down and into a right-hander. He thought he had that for a strike. And there it is again.
Nova usually around the plate, and he is enjoying a very fine control season this year. Only 6 walks at the start of play. Wieters into the opposite field, and it carries to Brett Gardner for out number 2. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Samsung and the Galaxy S7 Edge. 2 out, bases empty for Baltimore as they send up their designated hitter tonight, the veteran left-handed batter Pedro Alvarez. You know, not unlike Hyun-Soo Kim, who got off to a really rough start as an Oriole in April and early May. Alvarez has come around of late. He's hit safely in 4 straight games. One of the National League's most prolific power hitters as a Pirate. Didn't sign with the Orioles until spring training was well underway in early March. It looked for a while like he was going to be a man without a chair before finally agreeing on a deal to come to Baltimore.
Oh, tremendous raw power, especially down in the zone. Velocity up gives him trouble. That's not an issue against Nova. He's not going to see anything up. It's a matter of staying disciplined and making Nova come into the zone.
Ball and 2 strikes to Pedro Alvarez.
And you saw the discipline right there. 2-strike curveball. Alvarez saw it, stayed off it.
One-two pitch misses up and away. Pedro Alvarez, a New York native, grew up in Washington Heights, went to high school in the Bronx. Yankee fan as a kid. Two balls and 2 strikes from Ivan Nova. 2-3-2 now. The suggestion was made for Pedro Alvarez probably as recently as 2012, 2013, that the DH might be in his future. Little wrapper to the right side of the infield. Rob Refsnyder still learning the footwork at first base, but executes that chance perfectly. And Alvarez is retired. A 1-2-3 second for Ivan Nova. No score as we hit the top half of the third. Bottom of the order for the Yankees against right-hander Tyler Wilson, Chase Headley, Rob Refsnyder, and Austin Romine here for New York as Chase Headley has started with a strike. Well, for no Yankee was the start of the 2016 season more unkind than it was for the veteran former All-Star third baseman Chase Headley. We were 6 weeks into the season, Tom. I know you remember, and the number was still out there that Yankee third baseman did not have an extra base hit.
I think that was the longest run at the start of a season since Roy White back in the 70s for the Yankees.
Headley has since swung the bat a lot better, as witnessed here. That one off the wall in left center field. Jones plays it quickly on the hop, but the throw to second not in time, and it's a leadoff two-base hit for Chase Headley.
Well, he's catching up in the extra base hit department. Nice swing on that. You know, you saw the Orioles defense shifted over. When you're hitting .239 with only 3 home runs and you see a shift against you, that's a signal that you better change things up. It's one thing for a 30-40 home run guy to be facing a shift. For a guy like Chase Headley, this should be more the norm, using the whole field.
The Yankees have their first base runner, their first base hit of the night, and now it's Rob Refsnyder starting at first base this evening. To say the Yankees are a lot lower on their depth chart at that position than they had ever intended is a vast understatement.
Well, especially with Refsnyder pressed into duty at first base, position he's not familiar with.
Joe Girardi thinks enough of Rob Refsnyder as an athlete to give him back-to-back days there. We see time taken now with Manny Machado going over to chat with Tyler Wilson. Refsnyder has played second, third. He's dabbled in the outfield. And now, in the absence of Mark Teixeira, Greg Bird, who was the B plan at that position, who's also lost for the year. It's Rob Refsnyder and Chris Parmelee, who was called up from AAA today. This is Refsnyder taking some reps at that position this afternoon.
First base school in session. He's working on short hops, working on footwork, learning on the fly in the big league level. Not easy, but the confidence that you mentioned Girardi has in the bat. Parmelee being a left-handed hitter, natural first baseman, and Refsnyder gets the start against the right-handed pitcher.
Takes a strike. It's 3-1.
Well, his bat plays, there's no doubt about that. The question is, what is his position? Played the outfield in college, converted to second base, has played some third base, now first base. None really above average, but the bat is above average.
A drive into the same spot in the ballpark. Adam Jones is on the move and at the track makes the catch. Headley will tag up and advance to third. A loud out off the bat of Rob Refsnyder.
Well, you got an idea of his hitting skills right there. Gets a hitter's count and gets the breaking ball 3-1. And watch him stay on balance. The way he sinks into his knees allows him to keep the hands back. A hitter will buy some time on breaking balls by sinking into the knees, driving it deep enough to do his job. Moved up the runner.
Austin Romine now with a chance to plate that runner from third with only one gone in the inning.
Buck Showalter's going to be aggressive, move the infield in, not all the way in. With Headley's speed, you don't have to bring it all the way in.
You know, getting back to Refsnyder for a moment, it's one thing when a team has a luxury of using a guy with a big gear bag and multiple gloves in it, like a Ben Zobrist, who you can plug and play at any spot in the lineup, anywhere on the diamond. It's another thing when that player is on your roster out of necessity, and that is, with no disrespect, that's the place that Rob Refsnyder occupies now with the Yankees.
And too many people underestimate what's required to play first base, especially in the big leagues. A lot of responsibilities in terms of cutoffs, bunt plays, not that you see a lot in the American League, footwork.
Tyler Wilson, not a big strikeout guy, but could certainly use one here. Now a 2 balls and 1 strike count to the catcher, Austin Romine.
Weak contact. That is Tyler Wilson's game. He has stayed with hard 2-seamers, trying to jam him here. See if he tries to cut one away. Nope, he's going to the breaking ball.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Romine.
And he got away with that. That was not where he wanted. This is middle. You see where Wieters is set up. See the glove come back over the plate. Romine obviously not expecting that.
Austin Romine getting the start behind the plate again tonight in the absence of Brian McCann, not available because of the hyperextended left elbow. That's 3 straight missed starts for McCann, and a now 3 balls and 2 strike count to Austin Romine. You know, not to pile on with the numbers, but this is another category where the Yankees have really lacked. Batting just .213 with runners in scoring position. That's next to last in all of baseball. Fly ball to center. Is it deep enough to get the job done? Jones makes the catch. Headley's going to test him. Here's the throw home, and safe at home plate is Chase Headley. The Yankees are the first to score tonight on the sac fly by Austin Romine.
And that is something you don't see very often. Matt Wieters unable to pick the short hop. Some of the best hands you'll see of any catcher. Buck Showalter says he's better than anybody at tagging runners. Again, the slider left up in the zone. Was it deep enough? Well, perhaps not, but you watch this ball short hop Wieters at the plate. Just can't pick it.
There's Jacoby Ellsbury now with a run in, 1-0 New York. Let me ask you, because you know you've been talking and writing about the catcher's interference play and the sliding lane for the last 2 years now. I mean, that's obviously a part of what Matt Wieters tried to do. If the rules were different, or if this game was played in, say, 2011, that play looks a lot different at the plate.
Well, in the old days, you would have seen the catcher with the left foot pointing down the third base line, essentially taking the plate away and then reacting to the throw. Now, because of that rule, catchers are taught to set up in front of the plate.
Ellsbury with a 16 hopper up the middle. Scope makes the play, but not nearly in time to get to Speedy Ellsbury.
But I think everybody has gotten used to this rule. You see, he's set up well in front of the plate, tries to sweep tag here. Remember, in the first few months, a lot of replays, a lot of confusion about where a catcher should set up. Did he give a lane or not? We had almost 100 challenges that first year on plays at the plate. The next year it went down to about 25. People got used to it immediately, and I think we're seeing the same thing play out with the slide at second base. Again, this is a very difficult pick. The throw is into the runner. It's a short hop. You see Wieters disappointed with himself. That's a very difficult pick.
Ellsbury at first base likes to run. 11 bags in 16 attempts this year. We'll see if he tries it with 2 out here. And Wilson's aware of that, checking him close.
Yeah, this is a running situation here with 2 outs. Rather than play for 2 more hits, get yourself to second base. Another hit, 1 more hit can score you. If not, you get thrown out. You've got Gardner leading off the next inning. Key here, try to pick a breaking ball count.
Ellsbury stays put. Pitch misses down and in. That is one of the few statistical categories where the Yankees on paper have exceeded the Orioles. Little advantage in the stolen base category. Baltimore has stolen 9 bases as a team, by far last in all of Major League Baseball. Ellsbury has 11 by himself. Stays put again, and a strike taken by Gardner.
Brett Gardner is going to take a lot of pitches. Not just to give Ellsbury plenty of opportunity, but he does not mind hitting with 2 strikes. Likes to get deep in the counts.
Switch hitter Carlos Beltran waits next should Gardner have 2-out success. On the ground to the right side of the infield, smothered by Scope to minimize the damage at a run. The Yankees do strike first, however. The Headley double, the RBI sac fly by Austin Romine makes it 1-0 New York. First, a 1-0 lead for New York as we go to the home half of the third, and Jonathan Scope leading things off against Ivan Nova. Scope, Flaherty, then the top of the order Adam Jones for the Orioles. It looked like Baltimore had the best chance to score early after a 1-out Hyung-Soo Kim double. He was left stranded, however. In fact, Nova has retired all 5 Orioles he's faced since yielding that 2-base hit.
I can't believe he took strike 1. The 2 most aggressive hitters in the American League, Jonathan Scope and Adam Jones. It's a rarity to see him let a hittable strike goes by. And Nova's job at this point from now on, with an 0-2 count, out of the zone. Don't throw another pitch in the zone.
Just like that. Nova making very quick work of Jonathan Scope. On the other side, Tyler Wilson did allow the run, but pitched out of a mini jam to minimize the damage. In between innings, we asked his manager, Buck Showalter, what he likes so much about his young right-hander.
He's got good moxie. Athletic, doesn't beat himself, fills his position, throws strikes, not scared of the competition. And, you know, he's at a point in his career where he throws caution to win at the right time and competes. He holds runners, and people like playing behind him because he sets a good tempo. He brings some energy to the games that he plays in, and it's a lot more than lighting up a radar gun.
On the other side, Buck, team has been swinging the bat well. What's the approach tonight against Nova?
Well, we got to stay away from that short breaking ball. You know, guys come in, you know, throwing 60-70% fastballs with the scouting report, but it somehow changes a little bit against us. You got to adjust to what they're doing, and you know, the short breaking ball is the ball that we can't let him have.
Well, almost as though Ryan Flaherty heard him say that. Jumps on the first pitch he sees from Nova and singles back up the middle. So a one-out base runner here for Baltimore in the third.
Well, this is a very aggressive hitting team. And again, that's the favorite spot of Nova. Arm side, down, sinker. Flaherty beats the shift.
Yeah.
So a man aboard now for Adam Jones, who grounded out to start the home half of the first. Jones bringing a modest 4-game hitting streak into tonight's. Chasing a pitch well off the plate.
He's swinging again. He comes out of the dugout swinging. That's why he is not your prototypical leadoff hitter. You know, I compare him to Alcides Escobar. Remember him last year with the Royals? It made no sense that he was leading off.
Yeah.
Because he swings at anything. I call it a feng shui leadoff hitter because it doesn't make sense. It just happens to work.
Just feels right sometimes.
Yeah, it just feels right.
0-1 to Jones, who couldn't have hit that first pitch with an or, as Tommy Lasorda used to say occasionally of some of Steve Garvey's passes.
Because you can't defend it on the face of it, putting someone who's ultra aggressive in the leadoff spot.
Well, you know, it seemed a curious move at the time. Jones had been going cold. We talked to Buck Showalter about this specifically before the game, and because he and Adam have such a great relationship and a strong bond, we were wondering what that conversation was like. And Buck said, Jonesy, you've got 3 choices right now. First, the 0-2 pitch home from Nova. You can take a few days off. You can take the easy way out or hit 6th in the lineup, or we can take a chance and I can lead you off. I mean, he led him right to it with the way he presented the 3 options. And to Adam's credit, he said, sure, let's lead off. Let's try it. Who cares? And then Buck went on to tell us that lineup construction is completely overrated and let's just get out there and hit.
He did hit 2 home runs the other day at a leadoff spot.
On the ground to third. Headley to Castro. That's all they'll get. And Castro not even thinking about a relay on that chance. 2 gone with a runner aboard.
And by the way, the 2 home runs at a leadoff spot completed a career bingo. He filled his bingo card. He is now homered in every spot 1 through 9. 1 was the last spot on his card he needed to fill, and he got it done this week.
Yet another thing accomplished by the 4-time Gold Glover. So back to Hyun-Soo Kim now, who, including his double in the first, has 4 hits on the last 7 pitches he's seen.
Well, he's a quick study. Don't forget, over in Korea, their spring training starts in early January. Takes a long time for them to get ready for the season. Obviously not nearly the same kind of time to get ready for the season here in the major leagues. And the other difference, velocity. You know, he talked about probably the hardest thrower he saw over there was the relief pitcher O from the Cardinals. Throws about 92. That's average major league velocity. So he's making a living over there, hitting essentially 88 to 90. And that's a speed you don't see too often over here. 92 and above is what you see.
Takes a pitch off the corner, 1-1. Facing O in Korea. Now there's a matchup of some of the all-time nickname guys. O known as the final boss, and this player Hyun-Soo Kim known as the hitting machine. They also called him Iron Man over there, which is kind of ironic for a guy that's coming to Baltimore.
Yeah, he played in what, 170 something games over there with postseason included.
Yeah.
Hitting machine every year. Hitting above 300 over there. Always more walks than strikeouts. Got a very flat swing. Keeps that bat in the zone, the barrel in the zone for a long time. That's going to play well.
A ball and a strike. And behind 1-2 now.
And Matt, we talked about his opposite field double the first time up. The Yankees already adjusting the defense against him. Watch how long this barrel stays in the zone. A lower finish with 2 hands.
150 straight, and they called him Iron Man. It ain't 2,632, but I guess it's a start. A ball and 2 strikes. The count to Kim with the runner aboard and 2 gone here in the third. Yankees on top 1-zip. The 1-2 home. Laid off the breaking ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's the short breaking ball Buck was talking about. Nice job staying off that. The pitch of choice tonight for Nova with 2 strikes. Bounce it and get the chase. Might as well try it again.
Bounce to Refsnyder, who's looked okay in a couple of chances as a first baseman tonight. The Yankees hold their 1-0 lead. A-Rod hits second as we go to the top half of the 4th. Podcast is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the Lincoln Motor Company and the exhilarating new Lincoln MKZ. Carlos Beltran leads things off in the 4th. Beltran, Rodriguez, and Castro. Yankees on top of Tyler Wilson and the Orioles 1-0 New York. Beltran, a ground out victim in his first try tonight. Toward the shift, but he gets it through. Leadoff hitter aboard in the 4th. The Yankees scoring their run in the 3rd after Chase Headley doubled to lead off the inning. And we asked his manager, Joe Girardi, about Chase Headley's May-June resurgence.
He swung the bat a lot better. I mean, he got off to a tough April, and it's frustrating when you're going through it as a player, and it seems like that month's never going to end, but he has turned it around and swung the bat a lot better.
And Joe, after that double, how nice was it to see? Get him over, get him in baseball.
You know, a good job by our 2 young kids, and Ref and Romine, and just executing. And, you know, Ref got a curveball and drove it to center field. I was hoping it'd get up a little bit more, and then Romine battles and hits a 3-2 curveball for a sac fly. So the combination was nice.
Avance pitched out of a couple of jams. What's the difference when he's going good as he seems to be tonight?
Well, I think his sinker has depth more than just, you know, somewhat side to side, and he's able to throw his curveball over at any time.
Alex Rodriguez now with that leadoff hitter aboard, and nobody out in the 4th. Nice to see Joe smiling. The throes of some tough times here offensively. A ball and a strike to Rodriguez, who was a strikeout victim in the 2nd.
Well, that should put a smile on his face. The leadoff double and execute well on your 8-9 hitters. As you mentioned, Matt, getting runners in from scoring position has been a big issue.
Trying to crowd Rodriguez there. It's 2 balls and a strike as he misses in.
Yeah, Wilson, to me, doesn't look like he has the same command he had the other day against Boston. That was a sinker he wanted away, and it leaked across completely to the other side of the plate. He needs to pitch ahead. His stuff is just not sharp enough to pitch behind. Most pitchers can't. But he's not a strikeout guy.
Over the inside corner that time. Got a call, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, that's the same pitch again. Watch where Wieters is set up and watch the glove move. And the last pitch, same thing. Glove outside, ball inside. Fortunately for him, he's missing by enough.
Yeah.
You don't want to be wild over the middle of the plate.
Wieters wants it on that outside corner again. That's where A-Rod was looking, and he shoots it into right. Back-to-back singles open the 4th for the Yankees. You know, the skills might not be what they were 10 years ago for Alex Rodriguez, but he's still an awfully smart hitter.
Well, surprised by the pitch selection here. The fastball away. Talked about his difficulties this year with anything spinning off speed. The home run he hit last night to right field, fastball away. He's in 2-strike mode right there. Fastball away. He knew what to do with it.
Well, so now Tyler Wilson will try to dial up the ground ball here against Starlin Castro. This is a perfect time to revert into that sinker slider guy he's been, with the exception of the first few innings tonight. Leadoff singles by the veterans Beltran and Rodriguez. Nobody out to start the 4th. Castro lines to left. Kim on the move. It's going to get past him. That's going to bring in Beltran without a play. Throw to second. Not in time to get Castro.
I thought they had a shot at Castro at second base. It looked like the swipe tag by Scope missed Castro. Nice job by Machado. That's a nice slide by Castro. Watch him raise the foot away from the tag and get it in. Ball beat him, but good slide.
How many times you see that raised foot actually inadvertently hit the glove? That time it worked for Castro and the Yankees, and it's 2-0 New York. 3 straight hits open the 4th. They want to take another look at it, I think, in the video room for the Orioles.
Yeah, watch the foot go up and the glove go down.
Yep.
The first pitch slider, and that was middle of the plate. Wilson's got to get back to his off-speed pitch.
Second and third, a run in, nobody out, and now it's Didi Gregorius, who finished off an 8-pitch at bat in the second by succumbing on a ground ball. Swinging at the first pitch, a high, deep drive into the corner. If that stays fair, it's a 3-run shot. It's a foul ball. Wow. That ball was absolutely crushed.
That looked like a four-seamer with no cut on it whatsoever. And look at the body English from Wilson.
They're going to take another look at it as well. They should. That's a big potential challenge reversal. That's 3 runs. You tell me, Tom Verducci, honestly, how do you possibly look at this again?
Yeah, that's the problem, Matt, is that we don't know that these cameras are exactly down the line. And we talked about this with Buck Showalter before the game. Chris Davis hit a ball he thought was a home run, ruled foul, but it went like this one over the top of the foul pole. These foul poles just aren't high enough. I'll tell you my idea, Matt.
I love your idea.
My idea was there should be some laser light that shoots above the foul pole, and you can see whether the light hits it or not as the ball passes by, or it doesn't. Something else to extend the foul pole.
Well, the Yankees challenging this. This is actually an umpire challenge, as the graphic illustrates. They want to get this right in New York. Joe didn't even need to use one here.
Yeah, this goes under the old pre-replay rules, where home run calls, you could ask the umpires to review it and not use a challenge.
Boundaries and home runs. Honestly, we could look at this a million times. I don't know.
I'm with you. It's difficult to overturn the original call.
I do know that that ball got to Utah Street very quickly. That ball was absolutely smoked. There's a lot hanging in the balance here. Call stands. Foul ball. I get it. Just not enough to overturn the ruling on the field.
Yeah, I get it. And I also like the idea. They got together and looked at it.
Buck still wants to say something about this. If Buck's coming out as though they overturned it.
Well, he may be asking, why is that not a challenge? So I think when he issued a challenge on the Davis home run a few days ago, it was a challenge, and not an umpire review.
You're exactly right. That's got to be the nature of this. Took 1:30 for that to come back in as an upheld call.
But I'll be honest with you, Matt. The idea about you have one challenge, it's really not true, because you can ask the umpires later in the game if you don't have a challenge to review something. And I don't know an instance where the umpires have refused to take a look at something.
So the call's upheld. It's a foul ball. 0-1 on Didi Gregorius. And instead of being 5-0 New York, Tyler Wilson has a 2-0 game still hanging on the scoreboard. He did throw a couple of pitches just to stay loose. And here we go once again with runners at second and third, a run in and nobody out.
Obviously, with no outs, play the infield back. Don't want to give up the big inning.
That one gets away from Wieters. Everybody stays put on base, however, and it's a ball and a strike.
Alex Rodriguez is not scoring from third base on this ball. Just catches Wieters' leg so it doesn't go all the way back. That's a situation, if you're the runner on third and you don't break immediately, it's hit the brakes time. If you have to think about it, it's too late. You know, Matt, looking at the defense there, you saw during the pitch, Machado actually crept in a little bit to the off field. He's giving himself an opportunity to throw out Alex Rodriguez at the plate. So I don't think Alex is going to go on a ball to the left side.
Wilson's 1-1, fouled away, a ball and 2 strikes. Well, the Yankees, quite frankly, have not been in many opportunities of late to unwrap the three-headed monster in the bullpen. They've been talking about this ever since spring training. If New York has that 6th, 7th inning lead, it's close to lights out with Betances, Miller, and Chapman. Joe Girardi told us today that he'd like to avoid using Dellin Betances, who's thrown in 2 straight. That's going to get another run in. Credit Didi Gregorius with the RBI. It's 3-0 New York.
It's a great job by Didi, knowing where the defense was positioned. Great read by Alex Rodriguez. Pull the baseball, defense back on the right side. Get yourself an RBI. 3 runs tonight, 2 of them scoring on outs. Good execution by the Yankees.
And it's back to Chase Headley, who doubled and scored the first New York run last inning. And
another situation where an out can play to run. Infield in, Headley looking for a ball up, middle of the field.
Well, the Yankees so far tonight bucking some negative statistical trends. Bounce to second. That one's not going to get a run in as Scope was in on the infield, and there are 2 away.
Well, they got the pitch that he wanted, just rolled over on it.
So now Rob Refsnyder. 2 runs in, 2 away. Starlin Castro still at third. Refsnyder into the opposite corner. And a 2-out RBI hit by Rob Refsnyder has made it 4-0 New York.
Well, I talked about at the top the natural cut that Wilson has on his 4-seamer. And tonight, it's just been too straight. There's just really no movement on that pitch. It's also up. And the Yankees have been jumping on first pitch mistakes this inning by Wilson.
Orioles pitching coach Dave Wallace goes out to chat with the right-hander. 4 hits in the inning, 2 of them for extra bases. And the Yankees are 2 for 3 tonight with runners in scoring position. Talked about how that math had ailed them for so long this year. Perhaps this is the night of things getting turned around. There were other options. You spelled out some of the other choices the Yankees had at first base, not only tonight, but moving forward in the absence of Mark Teixeira now in terms of the next couple of weeks. Refsnyder wants to, he didn't want to give that spot up just yet. New to the position, but taking advantage.
And I love that call by Girardi, because by the book, you go with Parmalee, right? A left-handed hitter against a right-handed pitcher, a guy who's been a career-long first baseman.
Here's Austin Romine. He too picks on the first pitch, and that one squeaks past Scope. Refsnyder scores. 5-0 New York. Wow.
Well, Tyler Wilson's going to look back on this start, especially this inning, and second guess himself on the first pitch fastballs. Just again, too much of the plate. Another pitch up. The Yankees not conceding any first pitch strikes. If it's in the zone, they're swinging. Really time to mix it up.
Jacoby Ellsbury is the 8th Yankee to bat in the inning. And he too picks early in the count. Bear in mind, this is a Yankee lineup that at the start of play ranked 13th out of the 15 American League teams in 2-out RBIs. Two of the 4 this inning coming with 2 out here in the 4th.
Rare swing and miss tonight off of Wilson.
0-2 the count.
And again, he's a guy who's going to pitch to contact, but he's not been able to get the Yankees off balance.
Right back to Wilson, who will stop the bleeding himself. A big Yankee rally in the 4th. 4 runs on 5 hits. And the Yankees take a 5-0 lead. Baseball's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. It's the Yankees with an early impressive 5-0 lead tonight. Bottom half of the fourth. Baltimore sends up the middle of their order. Machado, Davis, and Trumbo. There's a drive out to right. Playable for Carlos Beltran, and Machado retired on one pitch. Both sides swinging aggressively early in counts. It's really worked for the Yankees. Baltimore yet to make that strategy pay off. I think it's worth resetting up what we talked about in the first inning tonight, Tom, as Chris Davis digs in. And that is that on paper, a great fastball hitting team against a guy that uses his fastball often, in fact more often than only one starter in the American League. And so far so good for Ivan Nova. 1-1 to Chris Davis.
Yeah, Sanchez and Nova both featuring sinkers, really heavy, hard sinkers. Did that working tonight, but as you said, a lot of breaking balls. That's been his go-to pitch. Key for me is getting ahead, which is allowing him to get to those breaking balls.
Two balls and two strikes to Davis.
Now with Davis, the area you want to stay out of is from here to here. Every one of his home runs has been hit in that area, in the strike zone, at the bottom of the strike zone. And you have to be below it just like that. Perfect execution.
4 strikeouts for Ivan Nova tonight. Let's take out to Kevin Burkhardt in Los Angeles for a game break, KB. Oh, man. You know, Buck Showalter told us before the game he really hopes that David Ortiz makes good on his promise to retire at the end of the season. I think everybody in baseball that manages against him feels the same way.
He's going out like Ted Williams did.
You bet.
With a lot still in the tank.
0-1 the count to Mark Trumbo. Nova doing a great job to neutralize the dangerous middle of the Baltimore order so far tonight.
Well, the way he's pitched Davis is textbook. I mean, essentially, to me, it's like a Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. As long as you stay out of that zone, you're good with Chris Davis. All of his home runs have been in the zone, none below it, and none above the bottom third of the zone. And the command that Nova's had on that breaking ball today, exceptional. Easy to lose one up and leave it in the zone, and that's in the wheelhouse of Chris Davis. But especially with 2 strikes, my goodness, bouncing him. Here he shook off the sinker to get to another one. It's a rare changeup.
Into left, and just off the end of the bat, so as Brett Gardner can make the catch to retire the side in order. sports quite the way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do. The brains to know and the guts to say. Catch Colin and Jason as they team up for FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself. It all starts Monday, June 13th at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on FS1. Well, Baltimore goes to the bullpen certainly earlier than they had designed to tonight. 4 innings from the starter, Tyler Wilson, and it was a 4-run, 5-hit fourth that was his undoing. And you could still consider him a top prospect. Right-hander Dylan Bundy takes over here in the 5th.
Definitely swing and miss stuff here. Mid-90s velocity. Real good changeup and curveball. You know, Matt, earlier we talked about Nova trashing that cutter slider that he had out of fear about an injury. Dylan Bundy has done the same thing. That was his go-to pitch when he was drafted, just a wipeout slider, hard cutter slider. And he just said it put too much strain on the forearm and elbow, and he's had a ton of injuries, arm injuries, and no longer throws it.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Brett Gardner leading off the visitors' 5th.
Someday I know that the Orioles would love to get him back into the rotation just because he's been so plagued by injuries, not nearly stretched out enough to work out of the rotation. You see him going out of the stretch, out of the bullpen now.
There's a breaking ball hammered into center field. And Gardner's aboard for the first time tonight. Final line on Tyler Wilson tonight. 7 hits altogether, all 5 runs earned, didn't walk anybody, struck out a batter. And again, it was that 4th inning that was his undoing this evening.
You can see there's a lot there with Tyler Wilson. I like the word that Buck Showalter first used to describe him, moxie. It's an old word, by the way. You don't hear that a lot.
Yeah. It's usually a word you hear attached to left-handers, too. Oh, he gets by with guile and moxie. In the air for Davis and 1 away.
But we talked about when he's got good command, that's Tyler Wilson's game. Doesn't have the kind of stuff when he's in the middle of the plate to survive, and that was his undoing tonight.
Quite the contrast is Dylan Bundy, by the way, who's always been the harder thrower, the plus stuff guy. And here's Alex Rodriguez to face him now with 1 out and 1 on. With the annual June draft approaching next week, it's always interesting when you talk about 1st-round draft picks from really different generations squaring up against one another. Bundy was a 1st-rounder back in 2011. Alex Rodriguez, of course, an overall 1st-rounder, overall number 1, that is, some years earlier.
And
back in 1993, and he's still playing.
Well, these are the kind of arms in Dylan Bundy that get drafted in the 1st round. When Tyler Wilson gets drafted in the 10th round. Why? Because velocity gives you more margin for error.
Jam shot over scope. Gardner to 3rd base easily. Runners at the corners, and the fire again hot in the Yankee 5th.
Well, you call it jam shot. These are the signs the Yankees look for, right? Anything to get you going. Things start going right. Ride the wave. It's been a long time since they've been on one of these waves, but tonight, good aggressive approach at the plate and some breaks.
Starlin Castro has an RBI double to his credit tonight, and a chance to do more damage here with runners at the corners and 1 out in the 5th. On the corner for a strike. You know, Buck Showalter had taken such an interest in Dylan Bundy, of course, as a 1st-rounder, and was as disappointed as anybody when Bundy had the physical setbacks, including Tommy John surgery. Really came before he could establish himself at the big league level. I mean, he was still working his way up the developmental chain even as a first rounder. And he was set back by the surgery and the subsequent year that you miss with rehab. And I remember talking to Showalter at the time, and his kind of musing, as he is prone to do, that maybe we, meaning baseball, should just all get together and only draft guys after they've had their requisite Tommy John surgery, because it was an epidemic a couple of years ago. I don't know that we're out of that phase yet, but it's happening more at such an alarming rate over the last 5 years. Lined over shortstop. Castro's second RBI knock of the game. 6-0 New York.
Ride the wave. There's another ball within inches of being out. Instead, it's a knock and an RBI for Castro. Watch Machado elevate. I think Castro thinks it's caught. He actually stopped out of the box. Getting back to those surgeries, Matt, to me, it's the chasing of velocity. It's driving the game. The radar gun is driving the game from a very low amateur level on up. It's easy to see in the major leagues. Velocity keeps climbing. To me, when you see young kids chasing velocity before they're really physically mature to handle it, and you can learn velocity, that's something that's really changed in this generation. It used to be a case where if a kid threw hard, you just said he was blessed with a good arm, right? Well, now we can teach velocity. You can add miles per hour. Strength training, mechanics, drills. It's being done across the land. Problem is, you see high school kids throwing upper 90s. But that's very dangerous to the body. To me, velocity is something you should allow a kid to grow into and not force it early on. That's why we're seeing Tommy John surgeries at such an early age. It used to be a surgery based on attrition. Guys pile up innings in the big leagues and wear out.
Hammered foul. Boy, Gregorius has really smoked some balls into that right field corner tonight. Behind 0-2 for it.
He's been a tough out. He's fouled off good pitches, extended at bats.
A 2011 draft class that Dylan Bundy came out of really yielded some serious pitching talent. Sonny Gray, Garrett Cole, Jose Fernandez, to name a few. And the pop-up makes for out number 2 here in the 5th. In fact, it all starts here. The 2016 Major League Baseball draft coverage begins at 6 Eastern Thursday, June 9th on MLB Network and MLB.com.
Well, I was lucky enough to see Dylan Bundy not too long after he was drafted.
Chase Headley pulls one foul.
And it was rare to see someone that young who had the kind of fastball command, besides the velocity, that Dylan Bundy had. And just an absolute physical monster at a young age. The lower half on Dylan Bundy is where the velocity comes from. So strong in the legs and glutes. That's a guy with early velocity you wouldn't necessarily worry about because he was physically equipped to handle it. See the strong lower half right there, uses it well in his delivery.
He was projected as a top of the rotation guy. This wasn't a guy who had a puncher's chance to break in and throw 6 years of long relief in the Baltimore bullpen. It's a great story to see him come back from as much as he has. A ball and 2 strikes now to Headley.
Speaking of the draft, Matt, it's been a long time going back to when the Orioles drafted Mike Mussina. before they drafted and developed frontline starting pitcher.
Boy, before you even started going down that direction, the only name that popped into my head was Sir Sidney Ponson, and I knew we could do better than that.
Well, no, actually, he has the most wins since then, but he was actually signed before then. In the past 25 years, the Orioles' biggest homegrown developed starting pitcher, Eric Bedard, with 40 wins.
Wow.
In the last quarter of a century. Of course, they had Jake Arrieta here. Didn't quite work out for them as well as it worked out for the Cubs.
Not supposed to talk about that.
He who cannot be mentioned.
It's a drive out to center field, playable for Jones to retire the side. Not before one more can cross for the Yankees. Another run on 3 hits. 6-0 New York. This telecast is sponsored by Sprint. Switch and save today. Learn more at sprint.com/network. That is 216 Emory Street, a Baltimore row house just a long fly ball from here. That is the home and birthplace of Babe Ruth. The Babe Ruth Birthplace Museum is actually it's a can't miss when you're here. It's a nice little tour. They have some artifacts from Babe Ruth's youth, bats, and the house he grew up in. Matt Wieters leads things off in the Baltimore 5th. Orioles have some catching up to do tonight. 6-0 New York.
I like the fact that the bed appropriately was made, because famously Babe Ruth's roommates used to say they didn't room with Babe Ruth, they roomed with his suitcase.
Excellent.
The nocturnal one.
2 balls and a strike. Imagine how blasted Babe Ruth would be in the day and age of Twitter.
Can you imagine if Babe Ruth had a Twitter account?
Better yet. 3-1. Wieters trying to get something going here. Ivan Nova has scattered 3 hits, a 1-out double in the first, and then a pair of singles in the third. Scattered 2 hits, that is, 1 single in the third, and there's a base on balls. A rare walk by Ivan Nova.
Yeah, I mean, he's been locked in, and actually this season Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, made a key change with him early on. Last season, watch his delivery. It's a 3-part delivery. The hands will go over the head. He doesn't pick up the target until he gets the second part of his delivery. So to make him a better strike thrower, get rid of the hands over the head, keep the eyes on the target from the get-go. The result, Nova throwing 64% strikes this year. That's a career high.
That walk he issued, just the 7th he's allowed this year in almost 50 innings of baseball. And now Pedro Alvarez with a chance. Just one runner in scoring position for a Baltimore offense who, as we talked about at the beginning of the telecast, has been noisy and hard to contain all week. 1-1.
Once again, watch his head. See, last year the head's down. Right this year from the get-go, the eyes on the target early and stay on the target throughout.
Alvarez behind now, ball and 2 strikes.
That's a nice job by Nova. He's throwing 2 seamers up to Alvarez. Normally a pitcher doesn't want to do that, but we talked about Alvarez, similar to Chris Davis, loves the ball down, has a hard time getting the ball up. 2 strikes, time for that bounced curveball right here.
Alvarez able to beat it foul.
Didn't quite bounce that one, but it's a great sequence. Changing the eye level of Alvarez. 2 seamers up, curveball down.
Well, you give Ivan Nova this kind of run support, and it doesn't happen very often for him. He is pretty tough to beat. Very efficient tonight as well, just up to 60 pitches here in the 5th. He's lost only 1 game when getting 5 or more runs of support. Between the pitcher's mound and home plate, and Nova calls off Romine to make the play. That almost dripped into no man's land.
Yeah, I love the way he took charge, though. Who said pitchers aren't athletes? As soon as you let the ball go, you become an infielder. This was a more difficult play for Romine. Watch Nova. I got it. You saw Romine immediately take off to cover 3rd. That's great baseball, heads up baseball. Why? The Yankees are in a shift. No one home at 3rd, so Romine, after being called off, covers 3rd.
Here's Jonathan Scope now. He struck out on 3 pitches in his first at-bat tonight. Runner at 2nd and 1 away. It's the 2nd opportunity tonight that the Orioles have had to hit with a runner in scoring position.
Now, Scope is one of those guys, because he's so aggressive, you assume an 0-2 count on your first pitch. You're not going to get a free strike, although we saw one earlier today, a rare one. The idea, expand, and then deeper in the count, expand some more. He will chase.
And quickly behind 0-2 as he was in the 3rd inning. It's an Orioles team hitting almost 280 with runners in scoring position this year. They just haven't been able to string anything together tonight, and all the reason is 60 feet 6 inches away. This is not so much an Orioles shortcoming as it is tip your cap to Ivan Nova. He's been fantastic so far tonight.
It seems like he's had a ton of 0-2 counts as well, really working ahead consistently.
Breaking ball misses in, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. And now Romine wants to come out and chat.
Yeah, that last pitch is the most accidentally effective pitch in all of baseball. The backup breaking ball to a right-hander. They give up on it. It almost came back over the plate.
Well, he doesn't throw that very often, as we've talked about tonight.
Not on purpose. Romine wanted that ball away. Watch where Romine set up, down and away, and the ball backs up. And right-handed hitters get frozen on that.
To your point on the 0-2 count, and it's a 1-2 count now on Scope. Nova has faced 17 batters tonight. 9 of them have been started with an 0-2 count.
Now that's extraordinary. Taking advantage of a very aggressive team.
Ryan Flaherty waits next. Runner at second with 1 gone. A ball and 2 strikes on Jonathan Schoop, who sits safely in 11 of his last 15, trying to cash in here in the 5th inning tonight. Chased, swung on and missed. 5 strikeouts for Nova tonight.
Saw Romine really hitting the ground, get this ball down. Almost looks like he got crossed up on that, expecting a breaking ball. That's actually, look at the fastball that cut on him. Look at Romine handcuffed on that.
That's flashes of 2011 vintage Ivan Nova when he did throw the cutter.
Exactly. I think that's inadvertent, but he overthrew the breaking ball. Certainly, then Romine out again to talk to him. Maybe got crossed up on that.
You know, we go back to that because as a rookie, Ivan Nova had a whiff rate of 43% on that pitch, and we just saw a flash of it there to get a big strikeout. 2 away now for Ryan Flaherty. He singled back in the 3rd. Catches a liberal corner with the breaking ball. In the air, slicing behind 3rd. Headley has a beat on it, and the leadoff walk left stranded. 5 shutout innings from Ivan Nova tonight. Is sponsored by Falcon Tires, On the Pulse, and by Cialis. 6-0 Yankees as we hit the top half of the inning. Rob Refsnyder leads things off in the top of the 6th. That'll be Refsnyder, Romine, and Ellsbury against Dylan Bundy out there for his 2nd inning of relief. Tyler Wilson, the starter for Baltimore tonight, lasted only 4, and 5 of the 6 runs charged to his watch. As Kevin Burkhardt told us earlier, the Red Sox were winners tonight, so they edge out by a half game atop the Orioles in the AL Eastern Division standings.
And Matt, that's the one red flag, alert, alarm, whatever you want to call it, with the Baltimore team is the starting pitching. Last 19 games now, only 2 wins by a starting pitcher, both of them by Chris Tillman.
This is a discussion that's been around the Orioles for the last couple of years now. And I don't think anybody intends to do it disrespectfully when the discussion is out there that they don't have, and I'm quoting now, they don't have that ace #1 horse lockdown guy. I think Chris Tillman would take exception to that because he's had a very fine year this year. And a cold strike 3 taken by Rep Snyder.
There's Chris right there. Great month of May, 5-0. But to me, it's more about the innings. You know, I think Kansas City's proven you can have decent starting pitching with a wipeout bullpen. But I think when you rank in the bottom 3 in innings from your starting pitching, you worry about the grind of the season. And I think Buck Showalter is good as anybody, and I'll put Bruce Bochy up there as well in bullpen usage. Making sure not to overuse guys to make sure you do have them for 6 months.
I mean, do you still feel the same way, even though the Royals bucked all that we thought we knew about this game last year? Last in innings by starters and winning a World Series. I know that the guys at the back of their bullpen were beyond compare, but the fact is their starters gave them fewer innings than any other team, and they won a World Series.
Yes, I think it's less important because the game has changed. It's a game really almost run by bullpens now and the depth of it, but you're talking about a historical bullpen, that Kansas City bullpen.
No, you're right, for sure.
You know, and Ned Yost was able, like Buck Showalter, not to ride the same 2 or 3 guys picking up all those innings. The depth of the bullpen in Kansas City really came into play. And I think Baltimore has done a great job. Guys going back and forth between AAA and the majors.
Slicing into the right field corner, and a foul ball.
But I do think if the Orioles can get their starting pitching to just middle of the pack, they can win the division.
Well, I'll be the glass half full guy there. Yovani Gallardo comes off sooner rather than later. He will certainly be an add. I don't know what's available come trade deadline time, and the Orioles have not been historically active in the pursuit of starting pitching as buyers. We had the big deal today sending James Shields to the White Sox. To the right side of the infield, Davis flips to Bundy covering for route number 2. A reminder, this month the United States is hosting one of the world's biggest soccer tournaments featuring some of the most famous stars on the planet, and the action continues Tuesday as Team USA squares off against regional rival Costa Rica. It's all at 7 Eastern, only on FS1, or you can watch the entire tournament live on Fox Sports Go. You know, to continue that discussion, if you look at the staffs who have given their teams the fewest innings, starting staffs this year, from the bottom up, it's the Reds and Twins. And again, no disrespect, but I don't think anybody considers them postseason teams this year. Then the Royals, Rockies, A's, and Orioles. And in the case of Kansas City and certainly Baltimore, those are postseason teams in my book.
Agreed, but I think Kansas City again is showing that they are the outlier. They're the exception, not the rule. People talk about the Royals model. Good luck trying to find as many arms, power arms in the bullpen as they have. More power to you if you can find them. But I think you mentioned Aquino and Gallardo, and I think if you're waiting for that, you know, Johnny Cueto this year, or David Price, or Cole Hamels, all traded last year in July.
Lined into right, and another base hit for Jacoby Ellsbury, make him 2 for 4 tonight.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. Don't see that guy out there unless you want to knock out Oakland for a Sonny Gray if he gets back and healthy and throwing the ball well. And I think you saw that. You mentioned the James Shields trade, that the White Sox this early stepped out and traded for a guy who just gave up 10 runs. So, you know, translate his stuff to an American League team in a hitter's ballpark. Don't get me wrong, I love James Shields. I think he's got great qualities as a staff leader. Always takes the ball. Complete gamer. But I think Chicago is being proactive with that move.
Agreed. Brett Gardner swings and misses. It's 0-1. And this offseason, or this trading season rather, might remind some of what happened in 2007 when the Brewers beat everybody to the punch and got CC Sabathia very early, well in advance of the end of July's deadline. And then the Cubs tried to counterpunch, and they got Rich Harden quickly. That was 2008. Hey, the runner goes. Gardner hits a base hit into the opposite field, and you got runners at the corners for just the second time this year. The Yankees execute a hit and run. Or was it a run and hit?
Yeah, I think it might have been a run and hit. 0-1 count. Watch Ellsbury. He did look in. It might have been a hit and run. Gardner just did a terrific job just delaying his hands enough to shoot the ball the other way. Watch him keep his hands back, let the ball travel. He told you he likes the ball up. He got one up and actually guided the baseball. Who says you can't hit it where you want to hit it? If you shorten up, you can.
We talked to Joe Girardi about that very thing before the game tonight. Now Carlos Beltran with 2 out and 2 on. New York threatening again. And Joe is of the mind that the hit and run is a bit of a lost art, not only within his own uniform, but in a lot of Major League Baseball cities these days, and for various reasons.
Well, number one reason is what the pitchers have on the mound and the swing and miss rate. The strikeout rate in Major League Baseball up for an 11th consecutive year. You know, this is not 1955 or even 1982 where you could count on people putting the ball in play.
There goes Gardner. Wieters throw down. It's the double steal. Here comes Ellsbury, and he's safe at home plate.
That was an unbelievable great read by Jacoby Ellsbury. Cheated down the line with a secondary lead, and when he saw the tag being attempted, that was the green light to go. Baltimore trying for the 3rd out here. You see that little hesitation, but once he saw the tag being applied with an infielder is making a play at second and not prioritizing him, that's when he takes off. Might have been nice to get the uniform dirty and slide. Watch the read by Ellsbury. Machado with the tag. I think he got the call right.
As do I.
Baltimore wants to take a look at it, of course.
I think it's pretty clear that Ellsbury's left foot is in at home plate before the glove swipes. And no challenge by the Orioles. Double steal nets a run, 7-0 New York, and what a night for the top of the order. Jacoby Ellsbury with a couple of hits, a stolen base, and a run scored. Brett Gardner, same story. And the plate appearance for Beltran continues with a ball that misses inside, 2-1. What was that number we had at the beginning of the night? How the top of the Yankee order has really been one of the shortcomings. Since last year's All-Star game, they're 1 and 2 hitters, last in batting average, and 27th in baseball in on base and runs scored.
Well, you wouldn't know it tonight, because tonight the Yankees are putting on a clinic. Scoring runners with outs, hit and run plays, stolen bases.
Swing and a miss by Beltran. I mean, this is what it was supposed to be, right? You get 2 guys who make great contact, who can run like crazy at the top of your lineup, and we were supposed to see this every night. They've been fantastic on this evening. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Beltran sends a full count pitch into right center. Trumbo closing ground makes the catch. The double steal does net another Yankee run, however. It's 7-0 New York. Summary: Ivan Nova hasn't needed the help, though he certainly appreciates it. Again, when scoring 5 or more for Ivan Nova, he's lost only once in his career, and they have scored, have the Yankees. The most recent of the damage, a double steal that included Jacoby Ellsbury stealing home plate for the 3rd time in his career. And it all means a 7-0 New York lead. So the Orioles have the top of the order to try to break through against Ivan Nova. Jones, Kim, and Machado.
Well, with the home run ball, the Orioles, a little bit like the Golden State Warriors with the threes. They can get back in a hurry.
1-1 to Jones is ripped into center field, but right at Ellsbury for round number 1. You know, here's more proof that Ellsbury and Gardner just make this thing go when the Yankees are headed in the right direction. Since the start of last season, New York is 30-5 when both Ellsbury and Gardner score a run, as they have tonight. I mean, keeping both guys on the field at the same time has been a part of the problem. First pitch to Young-Soo Kim is sent out to the opposite field. 2 quick fly ball outs for Nova in the 6th.
Oh, you see the pitch count there, only 72 to get these first 17 outs. Cruise control for Ivan Nova. We talked at the top. His stuff gets better over the course of a game, and that is certainly true tonight. It's been throughout his career. When you break it down, 1st, 2nd, 3rd time around the lineup, he's one of those pitchers. The longer he's in, better he gets.
So Manny Machado now taking his time before he settles into the right-handed batter's box. At least going to make Nova stand there for a while after 2 very quick outs to start the inning. Machado has fouled out and flied to center tonight.
There you go. There's the numbers. Not often you see that consistently going down the more pitches he throws.
He's fallen behind Machado now. 3 balls and no strikes with Chris Davis lurking on deck. He's handled Davis tonight. Here's the 3-0 home to Machado.
And I know Buck Showalter talked early in the game about all the breaking balls, and certainly Davis has seen plenty tonight. With the lead, Nova's been mostly now back to the sinker.
A base hit for Machado. It's the 4th tonight for Baltimore, and it gives Davis a chance to bat with a runner aboard. Well, a 7-0 advantage gives Ivan Nova all the excuse to bounce breaking balls to his heart's content against Chris Davis here.
I'm with you. You may show him something out of the zone fastball.
A hammer swung on and missed.
But why not? And again, every one of these breaking balls he's gotten Davis on have been below the strike zone. They start as strikes, end up as balls. One more, why not?
See Romine set that low target. Another one swung over the top of. It's 0-2.
Coming in this game, Chris Davis on 135 curveballs this year. No home runs, 143 batting average. Again, if you hang one, if you leave it actually in the zone, here comes another one, 3 for a quarter.
Wow, puts him away on 3 breaking balls. Chris Davis has struck out 3 times tonight. The Orioles leave a runner in the 6th. Yankees tonight in command and on top 7-0 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Alex Rodriguez leads off against Dylan Bundy out there for his 3rd inning of relief tonight. Middle of the New York order, Rodriguez, Castro, and the only Yankee without a hit tonight, Didi Gregorius, though he may have hit the 2 hardest balls on either side tonight. 7 runs on 12 hits for New York. No runs on 3 scattered hits allowed by Ivan Nova for the Orioles.
And the defensive positioning for Baltimore on Alex can tell you how well he's been swinging the bat. Last night, the home run to right field. Today, base hit to center field, base hit to right field. And that's why they're set up in a standard defensive positioning, not playing into the pull field.
Oh, that's refreshing. Standard defense.
I guess it's not standard anymore, come to think of it.
Right, yeah, right. This is the
That's
outlier.
the way they played for 100 years, but not in the last 3.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Alex Rodriguez. And full count now, 3-2. Couple of singles tonight for Rodriguez. He began play 4 for his last 24. It's been a positive game for which a number of Yankees hope to build. Hammer got him. Here is tonight's Gatorade Frost cool under pressure moment.
It's not often you see a pitcher get a hitter out the same way consistently. Breaking ball out of the zone. Breaking ball out of the zone. You know it's coming, right? Breaking ball out of the zone. Difficulty making contact until. Yeah, that bat's no good.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Doesn't work.
Curveball to Starlin
Sometimes
Castro.
they make bats that just don't work. Get rid of it. You know, there's lemons for cars. We should have a lemon law for bats.
Chris Davis is more than capable of snapping a bat. That is a strong human.
He's one of the strongest men in baseball, without a doubt. And speaking of bats, how about that bat that Buck Showalter had in his office today?
Yeah.
He said it was the greatest bat that he's ever seen. It belonged to Manny Machado, and he broke it about a week ago in Cleveland. And I actually had to agree with him once he showed us the bat, because the grains on the bat, I've never seen anything like it.
Perfect grain.
Perfect. They look like railroad tracks. You know, he called it 5 grain because there were very few. The thicker the grain, the better the wood.
Right.
Very thick, straight run of grain in the bat. I'd never seen one like that.
Unobscured by lacquer or color or anything. It was as pure and natural as you could get.
So its passing was mourned by Manny Machado.
2 straight strikeouts for
Nearly
Bundy. Here
shed
comes
a tear.
Didi Gregorius due up. How do neither one of us take a picture of that bat, by the way?
I don't know. You know it's special, though, when the manager keeps a broken bat in his office.
Yeah. Good work by Dylan Bundy in relief. He's gone with 2 out in the 7th. We'll be right back. Top of the 7th and the base is empty. Back to the bullpen go the Birds for the veteran left-hander Brian Dunsing, whose first pitch to Didi Gregorius is promptly served into center field. Well, Dunsing made his Oriole debut here a couple of days ago after being called up from AAA Norfolk. Former Twin. Called up to shore up the left side of that bullpen. There are 3 lefties out there, and after that first pitch to Starlin Castro, or rather Didi Gregorius, now every Yankee has a base hit tonight.
Well, he got that memo you sent out that he hadn't yet joined the party.
Yeah, all those hard hit foul balls. First offering to Chase Headley's foul back.
Now, Buck Showalter told us coming into this game he probably has a couple of relief pitchers not available tonight because they've been used so much. Probably Michael Givens, T.J. McFarland. When your starting pitcher checks out after 4 innings, not a lot of reinforcements. It's the type of game you might see a position player on the mound if it gets any more out of hand.
Line to Scope to retire the inning. 7th inning stretch in Baltimore on what has been a good night for the Yankee bats. To the bottom of the 7th, all New York so far, 7-0 Yanks. Is sponsored by T-Mobile, bringing you greater coverage of today's game, and by Lowe's. Yankees on top 7-0 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and a reminder that in 2 weeks the greatest golfers in the world converge on the historic Oakmont Country Club for the 116th U.S. Open Championship. Live coverage begins Thursday, June 16th on FS1 and continues through the final round on Sunday, June 19th on Fox, or you can watch the entire tournament live on Fox Sports Go. A change defensively as Aaron Hicks takes over for Carlos Beltran in right field, something Joe Girardi likes to do with late leads. He's doing it here on top 7-0.
Well, the first 1/3 of the season, 54 games, finished last night. Not a lot went right for the Yankees. The second third has begun extremely differently.
And now greater coverage of baseball is sponsored by T-Mobile.
I say differently because look at all the things breaking the Yankees' way. The short hop unable by Matt Wieters to catch it. Bump trap beats the shift. This ground ball just gets underneath the glove of Scope. Blue hit by Rodriguez just above the glove of Scope. Castro thinks that's an out, but that's just above the glove of Machado. And then the double steal, close play at the plate, of course is safe. A lot of things going right tonight for New York.
I applaud you're avoiding the temptation to say game of inches during all that, because tonight's truly has been for the Yankees. So I did it, of course.
It's all those lovers of cliches out there. You made their night.
Mark Trumbo leads things off in the Baltimore 7th. A swing and a high deep drive to center field. Ellsbury watches, and Mark Trumbo has done it again. Solo shot in the 7th. Finally gets Baltimore on the board. It's 7-1 New York.
Well, that's becoming a regularity around here.
10 for 19 now with 3 home runs against Ivan Nova. And before we check in on the rest of the guys that Mark Trumbo was tied with for the Major League home run lead, we can just tell you that was his 18th. He began play with a share of the lead. Not sure what Todd Frazier did today against Mike Pelfrey and company. Pitch to Matt Wieters is in for a strike. It's 0-1. Mark Trumbo has been an amazing story this year, and though his solo shot came in a 7-0 game, it's certainly worth talking about what he's done this season. 3 great home run years to start his career in Anaheim, and then fell on hard times, traded to Arizona, was injured for his brief time in the desert, dealt again to Seattle. And there were those that felt like Mark Trumbo was one of those power hitters in decline. He has certainly answered any of those questions with an outstanding start to his Orioles career, which, by the way, comes in a contract walk year. He'll be on the free agent market next season. And with the thin class this winter, Mark Trumbo is going to make a lot of money in very short order.
Well, it reminds me, though, of Chris Davis. You know, I thought he would make a ton of money, and he did, but his best fit was right here in Baltimore. And you got to believe Mark Trumbo, made for this ballpark, certainly feels at home. Just tremendous raw power. Remember, he was drafted by the Angels out of high school and had a workout at Angel Stadium. Mike Scioscia, the Angels manager, was out there watching it, and he said Trumbo, and with a wood bat, was just hitting bombs up into the rocks there in Angel Stadium at 18 years old. And I talked about this matchup against Nova, who doesn't get the ball to his glove side well. See that pitch? Leaks over the plate. That is nitro zone, middle in to Mark Trumbo. You have to pitch him on the outside corner and off the plate. And Nova is just not comfortable getting the ball to glove side.
A bouncer over the mound. Castro has time. Throw to first is not in time.
Well, that's the shift. That's Headley actually making the play in a position he's
second base side of the bag.
Not accustomed to. Watch Headley now have to come in and throw across his body. It just doesn't have enough on this ball. Thought maybe he should have thrown from down under as he would on a top ball at third base. You see him with the raised arm position. Just took too long.
Infield single for Matt Wieters, and now Pedro Alvarez with a chance. Six shutout innings by Ivan Nova. Baltimore breaks through on the Trumbo home run, then a Wieters base hit, and a ball and no strikes to Pedro Alvarez. That shot into the opposite corner, and that one's got a chance. That one's gone. And here come the Golden State Warriors, Tom Verducci.
Trace Thompson, Steph Curry filling it up. They changed the scoreboard in a hurry.
Solo shot by Trumbo, two-run bomb by Alvarez. And now Baltimore has a puncher's chance. Here comes Larry Rothschild now. Pedro Alvarez, make no mistake, does his damage against right-handed pitching.
Said earlier he got him elevating the sinker. This time Alvarez gets him. You don't see him leave too often the other way. It's a great job staying on that pitch away.
Since last year, for Pedro Alvarez, 29 of his 32 home runs and 82 of his 93 RBIs have come against right-handers. He is here to DH on nights like tonight. So now Jonathan Schoop, still nobody out in the inning. Right-hander Nick Goody up in the bullpen for New York. Schoop trying to dump a base hit behind shortstop, and he will. And it continues. Still nobody out in the seventh. This is an Orioles team that has won 3 straight in snatch 'em back style. Those were 1- and 2-run deficits we're talking about the last couple of nights. This was a 7-0 ditch that they were stuck in at the start of the inning. Here's Ryan Flaherty now. Flaherty has singled and popped up in the infield. Home crowd something to make a little noise about for the first time tonight. Oh, and 2.
That's why they're still here, right? Down 7-0 with the way this team can come back, the way they've done it this week. And oh, by the way, doing it with the back half of the lineup. Most impressive thing for me about Baltimore's offense, they don't need to turn over to hurt you. They can hurt you anywhere with the long ball.
Missed with a breaking ball to Flaherty. That time it's 1 and 2.
That's the first pitch I really saw Nova get outside of his delivery. That had no finish on it, that curveball. Those are the signs a manager and a pitching coach will look for.
Flaherty had something to hit that time.
It's a good pitch, though. I mean, he's in 2-strike mode here, protecting, letting that ball get deep and watch the ball get in on him. That's a good approach right there by Flaherty, making sure he's not out in front of the curveball. Foul him off, gets to another pitch.
Still 1 and 2. Schoop at first, 3 runs in the inning, nobody out. And that one bounces away from Romine. Schoop advances on the wild pitch. It might not seem like a big deal, but the double play, and that's something that Nova's induced fairly frequently this year, is no longer on in the traditional sense.
Well, Matt, if pitchers came with fuel gauges, the light would be on right now. Joe Girardi knows it.
Well, Adam Jones, the right-handed hitter, waits next. And you have to believe, regardless of the outcome here, that'll be Nick Goody's hitter. Still 2 and 2.
Yeah, Nova's just trying to execute one more pitch.
And the former Oriole Andrew Miller is up alongside Goody now.
Yeah, we talked about earlier, Dellin Betances likely not available. Used 2 straight days, 3 of the last 4.
Well, as efficient as Nova was early, he's creeping up on a season-high pitch count now.
All he needs is one more pitch. The problem is both the last two breaking balls, one bounced, one hung, not executed well.
And a full count to Flaherty. He's done a nice job to battle this plate appearance.
I think he's got to go challenge sinker here, down and away, back to bread and butter. Need to throw a strike.
Takes a long look at Scope. The 3-2 home, fouled away again.
Stuck with the curveball.
Trumbo homered, Wieters with an infield single, then the Alvarez homer. Scope singled to left and advanced on the wild pitch. Here's the next 3-2 home from Nova to Flaherty. Missed the corner, ball 4.
Well, that is it for him. You could see just running out of gas, pitch by pitch, until he finally hit E.
Ivan Nova was terrific tonight, but he leaves with 3 in the 7th, and 2 runners aboard is his responsibility. They do their damage on the long ball, as Tom mentioned earlier, and that's been the story here tonight in the 7th. Trumbo's 18th. Number 5 for Alvarez. We'll be right back. Out there is his responsibility, and 3 in here in the 7th, and as dominant as he was through the first 6 innings, he's looking at a very real possibility that still open line may look like he got knocked around tonight, and that was hardly the case for the first 6 innings of the ball game.
Well, the picture says it all. A guy who felt like Superman after 6 innings leaves the mound with a negative feeling in what should have been a really good start.
Right-hander Nick Goody last appeared Wednesday in a loss in Toronto. He inherits a tight spot. First offering to Romine, gets away from him. A free 90 feet for Scope, and Flaherty And the plot thickens. Still nobody out, second and third.
I'm not sure if he got crossed up on this. That's a catchable pitch. And that should be caught. That should be a pass ball. And again, as you mentioned previously, huge advancement, taking the double play out of order.
It only takes an Adam Jones base hit to make this a two-run game. An inning that started with a 7-0 Yankee lead.
Well, I thought Nova was cooked when he faced Flaherty. Joe Girardi just didn't have enough time to get Goody up and ready.
Jones with a high drive to left field. Gardner back, and that one is gone! Santa Maria! Makes it a one-run ball game.
This is what happens when a slider pitcher throws a backup slider with no bite to one of the best breaking ball hitters in all of baseball.
Ivan Nova began the inning on top 7-0, having dominated the Orioles through 6 innings of baseball. 3 home runs this inning. Trumbo, Alvarez, and then the 3-run shot by Jones has made it a 1-run game and hung 5 earned runs on Ivan Nova. Here's Andrew Miller now, the former Oriole, to face Hyun-Soo Kim in a 1-run ball game. We mentioned earlier that Ivan Nova had lost only one game as a Yankee when New York's lineup had given him 5 or more runs. Ironically, that one game came against these Orioles back in 2012. And Kim with a wave and a miss to finally even at 2-2.
And he's going to get one more of those breaking balls as well. But you wonder now what Joe Girardi does, trying to get 9 outs without, presumably, Betances.
Kim taps it up the first base line for Refsnyder. That, folks, is the first out of the inning. By the way, another note on Adam Jones, and not to lose this in the drama of the moment, but those are 3 very significant RBIs for Adam. He has now become the all-time Camden Yards RBI leader, passing Hall of Famer Cal Ripken. Of course, Cal played so much of his baseball here in Baltimore at Old Memorial Stadium. Nonetheless, Adam Jones is this house's new RBI leader. So now Manny Machado.
A lot of sliders from Andrew Miller. There's another one. He's become a breaking ball pitcher. Career high breaking ball usage up to 62%. It's gone up each of the last 6-7 years. That is his primary pitch now. Pitches off the breaking ball. And that one he left up. That's a breaking ball that he wants to bury on the back foot of a right-handed hitter. Away to a lefty. See the target down and in. See the glove move left up. Manny Machado said, "Give me one more of those." It's a healthy cut.
That got into the stands with some hair on it. A ball and 2 strikes. It stays to Manny Machado. It has been a 6-run Baltimore inning. 1 away, bases empty. A ball and 2 strikes to Machado. Chris Davis waits on deck, and Chris Davis is happy to see anybody not Ivan Nova on the mound. As tough as Andrew Miller is on left-handers, I think Davis would rather roll the dice with Miller at this point.
That doesn't get much better, though. I'm sorry. That's not relief. I know what you're saying. Anybody but Nova's breaking ball. But left on left breaking ball, I don't know if there's any tougher assignment than this guy.
And Machado pops it up. Refsnyder makes the catch. There are 2 away. What a difference an inning makes. First 6 innings, Ivan Nova was in complete control. Scattered 3 hits, struck out 5, was never in trouble. And then in the 7th, the inning started with the Trumbo home run. Nova would exit without retiring a batter in the 7th and allowing 5 earned runs, 6 all told for Baltimore.
And again, I'll go back to that Flaherty at bat. To me, Nova was cooked, but the way they jumped on Nova early in that inning didn't allow Girardi time to get Goody ready. And Flaherty was a guy who's had good numbers against Nova. Tough matchup. I would have rather seen the fresh arm rather than tired arm.
Slider in for a strike, and it's 2 balls and a strike now to Chris Davis.
But again, the Orioles were swinging so early in the count in that sequence. 4 hitters before Flaherty. Just wasn't time to get Goody ready.
2-2.
That is just really, really tough night.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, again, the angle that Miller creates with that breaking ball is so difficult on a left-handed hitter.
All 3 of Davis's strikeouts tonight have been of the swinging variety. There's one looking. The 7th inning comes to a close, not without some significant fireworks. Home runs by Mark Trumbo, Pedro Alvarez, and then the 3-run shot by Adam Jones made a 7-0 deficit. A 1-run game as we head to the 8th. Well, if you went away when the Yankees had a seemingly controlled 7-0 lead, a quite different story here at Camden Yards. A 6-run Baltimore inning has made it a 1-run game as we start the 8th. Rob Refsnyder leads things off against the left-handed reliever Brian Dunsing, who finished off the 7th. Refsnyder, Romine, and Ellsbury here for the Yankees.
As I said, the fascinating part to me is how Joe Girardi will manage these last 9 outs. I think he tries to divide them between Miller and Chapman. Miller once this year has got more than 3 outs, no more than 4.
And a swing and a miss by Refsnyder.
And he's hoping for a clean, easy 8th from Miller to stretch to 2. He did that last year several times, but so far this year, no more than 4 outs.
Boston Romine now. This is still a Yankee lead, and still an opportunity to use that the available part of that outstanding late bullpen equation. This feels a little different now. 0-1 the counts at Romine. It hasn't happened very often in Yankee history that they've given up a large lead like 7-0. In fact, the last time came back in 2011 at game 162 against the Rays. That memorable Evan Longoria led Rays charge when they had looked like they were counted out.
That was one of the best nights in the history of baseball.
The Dan Johnson game winner in the bottom of extra innings. Yeah, it was. Carl Crawford misplayed a fly ball here. Boston went away that postseason. 2 gone as Romine foul or grounds to the right side.
That was Terry Francona's last game, right?
I believe it was.
Manager of the Red Sox. Yeah. And I remember talking to Buck Showalter about how that stupid rule where you can have up to 40 players dressed in September. You play on completely different rules. Cost Francona his job because the Orioles beat up the Red Sox, not just in that game, but in that month. And they were able to do so being an inferior team with an expanded roster. It makes no sense. And I'm not sure why all these years baseball has never addressed the inequity of playing the most important games of the year with completely different rules.
2 out, bases empty now for Ellsbury. Couple of quick outs recorded by Brian Dunsing. Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Trumbo, Wieters, and Alvarez. And from that part of the order, 2 of the 3 home runs in the 7th came. Good breaking ball in for a strike.
Well, I imagine we'll see a pinch hitter for Alvarez with those numbers you mentioned. So good against right-handed pitching. This game is now in the hands of the left-handed power throwers for the Yankees, Miller and Chapman.
The 0-2.
And by the way, Chapman has not been asked to get more than 3 outs this year. No script tonight, guys.
No.
You got to freelance a little bit.
May not have that luxury tonight. A ball and 2 strikes now to Ellsbury with the bases empty and 2 gone. 2-2.
Just misses with the breaking ball. Dunsing doing a very nice job. Picked up to provide reinforcement for this Baltimore bullpen this week.
Just missed the corner. No, Wieters thought they had him rung up.
Yeah, the pitch before was a ball. A good take. This is the call you get most of the time. Away to a left-handed hitter is the pitch. The umpires, when they miss those calls, those are usually the ones they miss, to the glove side of the catcher. And I say miss by turning a ball into a strike. So the borderline pitch, if it was even borderline, didn't get the call.
Another full count pitch to Ellsbury on its way. Curveball whacked into center field, and Adam Jones creeps in to make the catch. A 1-2-3-8 by Brian Dunsing. Mark Trumbo leads off the bottom of the inning. Baltimore down a run. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Bud Light. Raise one to right now. And by T-Mobile, bringing you greater coverage of today's game. Mark Trumbo leads off in a one-run game, last of the 8th. A change defensively for New York. Just called up from AAA. Chris Parmelee, the veteran left-handed hitting first baseman, will take over. Parmelee played out his 2015 here in Baltimore. And he's right back in the fray in a visiting costume tonight. Fresh up from AAA, as we mentioned. Trumbo, Wieters, and then Alvarez, the DH spot. Though, as Tom intimated earlier, we're guessing a pinch hitter here against Andrew Miller in the 8th. It was Trumbo's solo shot that started the 6-run rally in the 7th. One and two.
Well, it's always interesting to watch these guys, relief pitchers, closers especially, not used to sitting down and getting back out onto the mound. He's done it only once this year. Doesn't sound like a big deal. To some pitchers it is.
On the ground for Gregorius, and one away. The home run in the 7th was the league-leading 18th of the year for Mark Trumbo. Let's take another look at it via StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services. That's what it looked like to Mark, and here's what it looked like via StatCast.
450 feet. You see the launch angle, 29 degrees. That's towards the higher side.
One gone now for Matt Wieters.
Did you see that exit velocity? 113. That gives him 3 of the top 15 hardest hit balls hit this year. That's like Giancarlo Stanton country.
Yeah, it's just thinking the same thing. They appeal out to first, and that's where Brian Knight says no swing. Aroldis Chapman up.
And I think he's 1 out away from coming into this game. Unless Miller is super efficient right here.
Well, Buck Showalter's not going to tip his hand yet. Pedro Alvarez standing in the on-deck circle. Two balls and no strikes. The count to Matt Wieters, the switch hitting catcher, with a single and a walk tonight. Add to it, a fly ball to left. All right, so 2 out, bases empty, and who blinks first?
Well, Alvarez is going to hit. Very interesting here. I like the idea of Wieters swinging 3-0 there. He got a fastball to hit, just missed it. And Chapman is basically just playing catch in the bullpen. So he was in standby mode in case Wieters could extend the at-bat, get on base. Not to be, so it's Miller trying to get 5 of these last 9 outs for Joe Girardi. 6 of them.
Did we just have a flash of lights? I think we just took a power hit here in the ballpark. That was not lightning that we saw. It's a very brief flash, and it certainly caught the attention of home plate umpire Tony Randazzo and everybody else on the field as they all took time collectively. So here we go with Alvarez. Sweeping breaking ball swung on and missed. You said it at the time, Tom. Pedro Alvarez doesn't go opposite field very often, and he did it in the form of a 2-run shot, one to the 3 home runs in the 7th, and that was a fence scraper by the standards of the ones that Trumbo hits.
Tucked it in there. And we mentioned his difficulty against left-handed pitchers. Showalter, 2 outs, bases empty, just hoping he can run into one right here. Alvarez getting right on that plate, trying to take away or at least defend that sweeper breaking ball away.
StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services. And a swing and a miss by Alvarez to put him in a 2-strike count now. 2-2.
It's got to be the same pitch here. We saw earlier he froze Chris Davis with the fastball in, everything away with the sweeper. No time to take a chance right here. Same pitch.
Put him away with that slider. Miller holds a 1-2-3 last of the 8th to the 9th. Still a 1-run ball game. has been perfect in save opportunities this year, 16 for 16. They would love to get him said chance, but instead it's Brian Dunsing who continues here in the ninth. Dunsing in a one-run ball game, 7-6 Yankees, goes to work on Brett Gardner to lead things off. Gardner, Beltran, and Rodriguez in the ninth. Check that: Gardner, Hicks, and Beltran here in the ninth. If you were with us earlier, it was all Ivan Nova, it was all Yankees until a 6-run Baltimore eruption in the bottom half of the seventh, and that's where we stand here in the ninth.
And most likely his last hitter. You'd want to turn around Beltran to the right side, Rodriguez behind him, bringing the right-hander.
On a couple of hops for Machado, it's short, one away. So one gone, and here comes Buck Showalter. And that will be the move. Not a safe situation for Zach Britton, but Buck wants his back of the bullpen here. Pitching change. And it won't be him either. It'll be Vance Worley when we come back. The way Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock do, the brains to know and the guts to say. Colin and Jason team up for FS1's new daily sports talk show, Speak for Yourself. Starts Monday, June 13th at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on FS1. It is the veteran right-hander Vance Worley with one away and the bases empty here in the ninth, trying to hold this at a one-run deficit. Aaron Hicks making his first plate appearance tonight. He came on defensively in what looked like a late prevent Hold'em situation with the score 7-0. And it's a ball and a strike to Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, I mentioned Beltran. Hicks was in the game, and Hicks is the guy you do want to turn around, have him hit from the left side. Worley, not a lot of velocity, good deception. Sinker slider guy. Ball has a tendency to play up, and what the velocity tells you, ball gets on top of hitters.
Into the corner, past Davis. A 2-out extra base hit for Aaron Hicks.
This ball is scorched. Breaking ball just hung middle of the plate. No chance for Davis. It's a huge run out there at second base for New York.
So now Alex Rodriguez, who has a couple of singles, 2 strikeouts, and a run scored on his line tonight. Well, for Vance Worley, whatever the reason, he has retired only 7 of the 13 first batters that he's faced this year. He loses his first batter here to an extra base hit.
Showed him the 2-seamer in. This should be sliders away. Been the book on Alex with those 2-seamers, ride it in on his hands. Just have to make sure you get it all the way in. We talked about he's been a much better hitter off the fastball this year than the breaking ball.
Well, the Yankees have had more success with runners on base tonight, runners in scoring position more specifically than they have in a while. 4 for 10 RISP tonight. A team hitting only .213 in that category leading into the game. Starlin Castro waiting on deck with 1 away. A ball and 2 strikes to Alex Rodriguez.
Worley flirting with trouble. Those last 2 pitchers didn't get in nearly as much as he wanted. Alex has had a very good 2-strike approach throughout this game tonight. Hicks runs very well. Be tough to throw him out at the plate on a base hit.
To 2-2 now. Vance Worley, for his part, has turned into a somewhat reliable reliever after beginning his career as a starter in Philadelphia. Served as a swing man for a couple of different teams. He loses Alex Rodriguez on an RBI base hit back up the middle. And some late Yankee life. Alex Rodriguez delivers a 2-run lead.
Well, his second hit this year off an off-speed pitch came at an opportune time. This slider doesn't get away nearly as much as he wanted. Left up as well. And boy, how many times have we seen this tonight? Ball's just escaping the glove of a Baltimore defender. That's a hit even if Scope stops it, but he'd be able to keep a double play in order and keep Hicks at third if he's able to glove it.
Second 3-hit game of the year for Alex Rodriguez. So now Starlin Castro. But they really have come in bunches for Alex this year. He's got 21 hits all year, including the 2 3-hit games. I mean, that means there's a lot of offers in there as well. But he has come up big tonight. A ball and no strikes to Castro. Baltimore played at 6 in the 7th. A not so comfortable 1-run Yankee lead has been turned into a 2-run advantage after the Hicks double and Rodriguez single. That one's dumped into left. First and second with 1 away, and Vance Worley hasn't gotten anybody out yet. A reminder, follow live baseball with the MLB.com @bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com @bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
We talked about Buck Showalter and his bullpen usage. A couple of guys not available. He's not going to push guys. Michael Givens, probably a guy you'd like to match up on right-handed hitters. Low three-quarters delivery, a nightmare for right-handed hitters. Morley having a tough time with all kinds of hitters this inning.
Didi Gregorius was the last Yankee to join into the hit parade. 16 Yankee hits tonight. Worley's first pitch to him, bounced to first base. Davis to second for one. Back to the bag with Worley covering a well-timed double play. The Yankees do add an insurance run. We go to the bottom of the ninth inning. Last licks for Baltimore. They'll have to deal with the flame-throwing left-hander Aroldis Chapman to the bottom of the ninth. A two-run game.
Leaving Aroldis Chapman for a clean ninth inning.
And no fun for any lineup to try to dial it up to hit 102 from the left side. Just a part of the Aroldis Chapman repertoire. He has converted on all 8 save opportunities, making his 12th appearance as a Yankee tonight. 15 strikeouts, only 2 bases on balls.
Fastball at 100 on average. He's unlike anybody else in baseball. It's not just the velocity. You're talking about someone who's already hurt his catcher here, just warming up. Looks like he caught the thumb of Andrew Romine. This is a warm-up pitch.
How in the world does that happen, right? I mean,
Slider bounced.
Andrew Romine's thinking, I have a glove on that hand. I'm wearing a glove under the glove, and I still got cut.
Remember, Brian McCann did not start this game or yesterday's game because of a hyperextended left elbow. The Yankees told us he was available, and certainly they did not envision this scenario.
And they've already used Chris Parmelee at first base for Ref Snyder.
Watch the glove thumb. That was very odd. You see, as it was breaking, he wasn't sure whether to backhand that or not.
And Brian McCann's going to catch the ninth. Now, there was some considerable urgency to the pace that they brought Romine off the field with.
He's thinking about backhanding. Now goes back. The glove is coming off already. Very strange.
I mean, he came off the field in a pretty big hurry with the trainer. I mean, they're stitching him up. He's not going to be able to return. So Brian McCann is going to receive the ninth.
No problem. Sit for 3.5 hours. You think you got the night off? Go ahead and catch this guy. The Matt, I was talking about the velocity is 100, but Chapman has one of the longest strides in the game, almost 7 feet long. So he's cheating the distance. That 60 feet 6 inches becomes about 53 feet. So the effective velocity of that 100-mile-an-hour fastball is about 102. It's not just about speed, it's really about time. The time that the ball is in the air, and he compresses it more than any pitcher in baseball.
Jonathan Schoop will lead things off in the home ninth. Chapman tasked with protecting a 2-run lead late.
Well, we know Schoop is swinging, and he better be sitting on heater. The first pitch he throws in the dirt. Welcome, Brian McCann.
Yeah.
Your night off is officially over.
How's the elbow feeling? Schoop singled and scored one of the 6 runs in the 7th. 98 swung through.
He's not loose yet.
I mean, it sounds like you're kidding, but I know you're not. I mean, we'll see 102 before the end of the night. The highest strikeout percentage in baseball since 2002. Just free and easy at 98.
No chance up there. Check out the long stride, cheating the distance between the mound and the hitter. He is so athletic. He's one of the most athletic deliveries in all of baseball. He's probably one of the fastest guys on the team. Athleticism is in the delivery.
Schoop makes a little contact and pops it for Parmalee. There's one away. Vote today, vote tomorrow, vote for your 2016 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at MLB.com/vote and catch all the excitement of the 87th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 12th, live on Fox. A pinch hitter now, Joey Rickard will swing the bat. You can take your warm-up swings in the tunnel and hang around in the cage to try to get ready to pinch hit in the 9th, and then it's against Aroldis Chapman. 98 for a strike.
Now Rickard takes a lot of pitches, but I'm not giving away that pitch. It's just tough enough facing this guy with no ball or no strike count. It just gets harder and harder. And strike 1 and strike 2.
Breaking ball misses in. Aroldis Chapman, as we know, didn't begin his season until later than the rest of the team because of some disciplinary action handed out, resulting in an off-the-field incident before he got to the Yankees. So the 8 for 8 in saves is unlikely to get him to San Diego for the All-Star game. A little more velocity on that swing and miss at 99.
It's unhittable. Above the hands is unhittable. To hit 99 above your hands, you have to get the barrel of the bat up on top of the ball actually faster than you do 99 at the knees. Problem is, you get a better look at it. Too tempting.
A ball and 2 strike to the pinch hitter Joey Rickard. In the air for Gregorius at shortstop. And the Orioles are down to their last out tonight. It'll be Adam Jones that has that last chance to keep things going tonight.
Well, this should be fun. Adam Jones doesn't concede too many pitches in the zone. My guess is he gets his 3 swings.
And the first chance that Adam Jones has had to face Aroldis Chapman. Potential tying run in the on-deck circle in the form of the pinch hitter Nolan Reimold.
That was a great shot from that angle. Compressing time and distance with that fastball. Don't blink, because that's all the time a hitter has to decide to swing and to swing, literally the same as the blink of an eye.
A career American leaguer at the plate against a guy who was a career National Leaguer before this year. Well, their paths had not crossed until this evening. And now Adam Jones is down to his final strike.
Slider. Just so hard to cover the fastball at 100. And the slider right behind it.
It's the first fastball he's thrown, and there's the 102. I mean, he's got everything in Adam Jones' head, right? Adam Jones has never faced him before. He goes up there looking for that. Change-up, slider, slider, then he gets the 102 with 2 strikes.
Fastball away, probably a 102 again.
And he spiked it. I think that might have caught Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire.
It did. He's already taken out his catcher, and now he's taken out an umpire.
It's like a Nuke LaLoosh element to Aroldis Chapman tonight. Boy, that got Randazzo right up around the neck.
Man, we talk about the difficulty of trying to hit this guy, trying to catch him, and the Cole's pitches difficult as well.
Full count to Jones. And he lost him on ball 4. My goodness. I mean, it's one thing to miss, but when you're missing up high at 100, that's a whole nother animal. So now the Orioles do have an opportunity to bring the tying run to the plate.
I talked about the extension of Chapman. Here's a great look from StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services. Because of that stride, that 103 is perceived to be 104. That's just not fair.
Jones takes second on the first pitch. He will do so without anybody paying him any never mind. Fielder's indifference credited there. No stolen base for Jones. And Reimold takes strike 2.
Well, there's probably no tougher position to be in than to be 0-2 on Aroldis Chapman, and you've yet to swing the bat.
Jones came back and drew a walk after being behind 1-2. 0-2 to Nolan Reimold. And he just stays alive. Reimold, a career 7 for 36 pinch hitting line that translates into a 194 batting average.
The Yankees defending the tying run at the plate, playing no doubles defense. And you see Gardner in left field all the way towards the gap in left center. Of course, not believing Reimold is going to turn around anything from Chapman.
The next 0-2. He lays off 101. Reimold like Jones before him. Seeing the Cuban-born flame-throwing left-hander for the first time tonight. And he finishes him with a breaking ball. That's it. The Yankees hang on to win it. Wow. A furious Orioles rally. A 6-run seventh made it a very close proposition. The Yankees get the insurance run in the ninth, and with that great back of the bullpen combination of Miller and Chapman, they hang on for an 8-6 win.
A lot of things went right for the Yankees tonight. Offensively executed so well up and down the lineup. As you mentioned, Joe Girardi without Betances had to go off script. No formula tonight. Miller for 6 outs. Chapman for 3.
The Yankees 8-6 winners in Baltimore tonight. Tom and I are right back after a quick timeout.